Welcome back to Celebrity Radio. It's Alex Belfield talking to some of the country's biggest stars and some of my favourite people, and we've definitely got two of them for you today. As soon as they came out of BGT, we spoke to Richard and Adam, and since then they've been on tour releasing number one albums, and they're back in 2019, both on the telly and with live dates, starting September 19th at Brighton, ending up in Rhyl at the end of November, and I'm delighted to say they join us on the phone now. How are you, boys?
Very well, mate. How are you? Hello.
I'm good. It's really lovely to talk to you, and what's interesting about this business, when I interview stars, I immediately see the reaction because I use YouTube where there's no fakery. It actually has to have a clip, unlike Twitter or Facebook where you can scroll past and it counts. And you guys have always had this dedicated, passionate following. Your fans love you, don't they?
Yeah, dude, we're very, very lucky. They followed us for a very, very long time, and because of that, we've had the best following. Feel extremely, extremely lucky to have such a great fan club. I'm not sure if you've seen the fan club. I think it's very, very close to 1,000 now, and we've got a fantastic lady running it, and she writes down all the ways of getting to the venues, from hotels to the car parking. She's absolutely fantastic, and it's growing day by day.
Well, you can't buy that, and that's down to, I think, talent. I've just watched your new promo for this tour. You're very smart. You're doing the greatest showmen. These songs are tricky, aren't they? And I suppose, Adam, for you, the key is getting the songs right and making it look like you've been singing them your whole life.
Yeah, I mean, the greatest showman, really. I mean, we both didn't know what to expect when we went to the cinema, really. I remember Richard calling me and he said to me, listen, there's this film on. It's supposed to be like a musical. Come along and have a listen. And I wasn't expecting much at all, and I never forget walking out of the cinema after hearing it and just thinking that what amazing music it was, really. And we were singing the songs all the way home. We got home and we were learning the songs, and then went on our next show, which was a couple of weeks later, we put like A Million Dreams, which is from the show, straight in, and we just fell in love with the song straight away. So when this tour came up, I said to Richard, we should try and base it around that, but obviously we are going to be doing loads of other songs as well, from like Les Mis, Miss Saigon, and we'll be doing a couple of classical numbers as well. But we just thought The Greatest Showman, it's a classy musical, looks great, and the video, we were so happy with it as well. And huge thanks to our eldest brother, really, isn't it? Yeah, well, he's a wedding videographer, and he did the whole thing for us, didn't he, in the theatre? Yeah.
Oh, fantastic. And you're going to be on the road starting September 19th at Brighton via Yeovil and Bristol, and you'll go to London. You'll be there on the 9th and 10th of October, then back to Wales, to Neath, Carmarthen, Basingstoke, Portsmouth, right through up to Yorkshire, 14th of November, and finally in Rhyl. Is it fun being on the road? I notice one of the things you do now is cruise ships, and what's interesting about these things, despite the slights from people like Simon Cowell, is it's proper showbiz. We're talking 2,000 plus people in a beautiful theatre with divine HD sound and lighting. I mean, it's rock and roll, that really. It's the new big showbiz, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing, really, how many people you see when we're doing the cruise ships, and you meet them over and over again. They're great entertainers, and me and Richard go to watch all the shows, and you meet up with them, and like you say, you're performing to 1,500 to 2,000 people a night, and they're great for Richard and myself. We get to see the world and things, and what's great is you get to literally wake up, walk down, and you don't have to take a sound system with you or anything, a microphone. You just get up and you go straight on the stage, and it's all there for you, like you say, with the lights and the sound, and the audiences as well are always fantastic. And we've been doing a lot of ships the past couple of years, haven't we? Well, quite a few. Yeah. But like I say, I always say to Richard, I don't know if it's the way forward these days. You see so many people doing them.
And I'll tell you why, because you've got a captive audience who are there and interested. I think part of the problem now with show business is finding an audience, reaching an audience. And then, of course, you've got to go to them, and it's expensive, whereas all that's taken away and you get to be with the punters on the cruise ship. Tell me about the gripping and grinning and meeting them. I mean, you two can't walk around a cruise ship without being identified. Is that a problem? Do you like that, or is it just fab meeting the fans?
I mean, it's great to see people. I mean, when we finish our shows, we're there for at least an hour with the CDs and signing and stuff like that. There's always a huge queue afterwards, which is great. Sometimes on the ships, obviously, you do one show and then you do one half an hour later. So sometimes you have to delay the second show and things like that because there's so many people. But it's great to talk to people, hear people's feedback, and we're always very, very critical of ourselves. So to hear positive things always is a good motivation and keeps pushing us forward in singing the best we can and making sure we're doing the right thing. And when we're on the ship, it's crazy. I mean, obviously everybody's seen us on there, 4,000 people. It's not like when you walk around, you do a show and then you walk around the city the next day, there might be one or two people on the cruise ship. Every single person you see is seen you. So we do a lot of stop and chat, which is fine. And occasionally we'll get an ice cream, and by the time we started, it'll have melted by the time
dripped all down you. Don't get it all over those cruise ships. They won't be happy if you're dripping ice cream all the way through the cabins. We've known each other 5 years now, and as you know, I'm a deeply unattractive man, and you two look even more delicious than ever. I mean, it must be fantastic to be you now, because, I mean, you're both men who are doing the business and you're out there. How have your lives changed? Because you don't do sort of tabloid stuff or reality TV. You keep yourselves pretty private, don't you?
Yeah, we do. We sort of have got a passion for singing, and we go out there and we sing at every chance we can, and we keep our options open for doing things. And aside from that, really, yeah, we do sort of just have a normal, regular, everyday life after singing. We go home and we live like anybody else and just enjoy life, and it's quite relaxed, and we enjoy what we do, and we get a bit of a best of both worlds, if you like. I mean, if the chance came up, I don't think we'd ever do anything too extravagant. I wouldn't be too against going into the jungle, I don't think. But it depends whether I cope with it or not.
And would you have to go in together? Is there a pact between you both that whatever you do, do together? Yeah.
Absolutely. People often say to us, would you ever consider doing this or that? And I go, no. Unless we do it as a duo, it won't be done at all. Like it's been for our whole lives, really, singing and not in singing. We've never done anything without one another, so we'll always hold that up at the highest point.
And how old are you now?
So I'm 29 and I'm just 26. I have to think about that.
Fantastic. I mean, and this is the time of your lives, really. I guess you enjoy travelling with the cruise ships and all that and getting to see the world. That's the good thing about it. I mean, imagine being in your mid-20s, selling out rooms, being on tour, star of TV, and you get to see the world too. It's not bad, is it?
No, it's great. We do have a great life. It doesn't come without its stresses. We have loads of highs, some lows, but when you enjoy what you do and you get the opportunity to do things that you never thought were possible, it's worth it in every way. And we get to do it together. We often say that it can be a very lonely existence if you're travelling on your own.
I think so.
You have a lot of stresses. We've always got each other, and if one person forgets something, you've got the other one's back up. And we feel very, very lucky and extremely privileged, and we just hope we can do this for the long term.
And what about partners? I mean, is there room for another two people in this relationship between you?
Well, we're actually both married. I got married 2 years ago, and Adam last year. We were going to have a joint marriage, but I said to Richard, it might be a bit much.
A bit creepy, that. Yeah, you don't want to do that. You'll end up on Facebook.
I mean, we do everything together, but that's one step too far.
What do they think of it? Because, I mean, your bond between you and your synergy is so beautiful. I mean, you could literally finish each other's sentences if you wanted to. And that chemistry is so rare and lovely. I sort of admire it in a way. I wish I had that with my sibling, that to have that genuine friendship. Is there a line where you have to go, right, we can only see each other twice a week because the partners have had enough?
I mean, we really do. Honestly, we get on better than ever. And it's funny because when we did Britain's Got Talent, we were interviewed so much after the show, and they used to always say to us, do you two get on? And we used to look at each other and think, well, what's a funny question to ask? But obviously, now later on in life, we've realised that siblings and things obviously don't always get on.
Right.
And the girls are great, aren't they? I think Adam's wife, Gemma, she's always been a singer, and she sings on the circuit. And my wife's a dancer and now teaches dance. So because we've all been in the same industry, there's an understanding there, and they know what it takes to keep yourself out there, keep performing, keep being seen. It's about not disappearing off the face of the earth and keeping yourself in the limelight as long as you can, and keep singing and keep building support for what you do. And they're so supportive of us, and they help us every step of the way. I mean, I can't tell you how great the support is from our wives. It's been absolutely unbelievable. Sometimes you need a little bit of motivation, and my wife's always there for me for that, which is fantastic.
How beautiful. And what an achievement to have found happiness in your mid-20s and to be successful too. That's not to be sniffed at. Congratulations to both of you. We're going to see you back on the TV this autumn in a bizarre TV show, which I saw in America, of course, in May when I was there, which was America's Got Talent, The Champions. Now they're doing Britain's Got Talent, The Champions. But it seems to have gone a bit wrong because we know who's won it because they filmed it in front of 10,000 people at Wembley. It was a bizarre thing. I think people will watch it and they're going to be excited by it, but it's curious that they've pre-recorded the whole thing. It's all in the can.
Yeah, I mean, Simon Cowell himself, when we spoke to him, he was a bit like he was hoping that no one would let it out. But I said to Richard, "There's no way. I mean, when you're at Wembley Arena, I don't know how many was in, like 10,000 people.
Right.
You bounce, someone's bouncing. You know what it's like, social media these days. Someone's bound to go on and say who the winner is. You know. Yeah, I don't know what the thought process behind it was. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's bigger than better than ever. They've definitely upped the ante in Wembley Arena, and the setup and staging, and the whole thing was incredible, and it was great as well. I said to Adam, I felt like it was less of a competition, although it was, Britain's Got Talent can't help but make it a competition. But it felt more like a showcase of all the people that
I think that's what it is, isn't it?
And all the acts. And, we, as you know, everybody on Britain's Got Talent, we all bump into each other in variety shows or on a cruise ship. And it was just great to see everybody. And rather than us, we weren't going into it like last time, like, oh, we need to win. We went into it with the mindset of, like, what a great opportunity for people, out in the UK and the world to see where we are today and to celebrate the talent over the last 10, 13 years, whatever it's been.
And I guess you've all won by being invited, haven't you?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we were absolutely thrilled to be invited in the top 40 of like 300 or 400 acts from around the world. I mean, that was a huge pleasure for us, and it was great to get back on the stage and 6 years later to be in front of the judges. Yeah, I said to Richard, it kind of had the feeling of Eurovision, not Britain's Got Talent, didn't it? Yeah, it did. Eurovision. You'll see when it comes onto the TV. You all had your little pods, didn't we, in the middle of Wembley Arena. So after you'd finish your performance, you'd go and sit with your family in one of the pods in the middle of Wembley, and then you'd watch the other acts and things. But obviously in your pod, because it was not just British acts, it was from all around the world. There was people in pods with Spanish flags and British flags. It felt very much like Eurovision to me. But
I don't understand. Forgive me, why is it called Britain's Got Talent, The Champions, if it's people around the world? What was the thinking on that?
It's hard to understand it, really. I mean, they keep the cards very, very close to their chest, and literally you don't know a thing until you're there on the rehearsal the day before you go on. Right. And it's only in that time did we realise that it wasn't live, and that we suspected it because obviously there was no advertising on TV, and we didn't know it was not live. And then we couldn't understand the voting system because people wouldn't be able to vote from home. So obviously we've got quite a big fan base. And they were like, no, it's all in-house. There's 300 BGT fans, they're calling them, on the front rows, and they'll vote from keypads. We're like, right, okay. And then obviously they're like, by the way, there's acts from all around the world. And it was just like within like a few hours before your sound check and rehearsal, you find out the layout of the show, which is obviously completely different to what we know. From previous series. You can't beat the public vote, you know what I mean? It's always, I just find public vote the best when it's live.
Of course.
It's tough with demographic, it's you've got 300 people in there, and every night, depending on what 300 people you've got in there, it's all dependent on them. Whereas I think when it goes out to the UK and millions of people are voting, it's a more broad and fair vote rather than 300 people.
Do you know, I'm sat here smiling. Anybody would think we were debating Brexit, wouldn't they?
It's honestly, we were talking about it for like a few hours after the show, and we were thinking, I don't know what the process was, and it was obviously all going to be revealed, the winners and stuff, with 8,000 people in a night. With the social media these days, there was no stopping it, was there?
No, absolutely not. And did all the turns sort of feel the same, that you were just happy to be invited because of the exposure and sort of the fact that it's a little bit rigged because 300 people are representing 64 million is neither here nor there. It almost doesn't matter.
Exactly that. I mean, it was great to get back on the stage, and obviously when we go back on TV, the 15 million people at home will get to see us and see where we've come, and hopefully will come and see us on the new tour.
Yeah, it can't hurt at all. And again, they seem to be pushing magicians. I mean, I know Ross, who does their consultancy for BGT, and he's literally ran off his feet for months before putting acts together for these magicians. There's certainly an agenda that it's moving away from singers on that show to mentalists. This seems to be the new thing.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I mean, it was this year when me and Richard watched it, we were saying, well, Richard doesn't watch it as much as me, but I mean, it was literally, I mean, we went onto the ship after it had finished, and we met a few magicians on there, and they all obviously knew the ones that were on Britain's Got Talent. They were just saying that there's so many on there. I think there was 8, wasn't there, this year? Yeah, it was like a magic year, wasn't it? And I mean, you know, it's good for it's a good variety, and there's some fantastic magicians out there. We've seen some amazing ones on the cruise ships, and there's some, you know, massive ones that have been on Britain's Got Talent that we've met over the years, and they're absolutely fantastic. But I still think in the final it's important to keep a good variety and not homing on one style of acts. But we'll see how it goes for the next year. My
favourite story of America and Britain's Got Talent is my friend Terry Fator in Las Vegas, and when he won it in the first series, Simon Cowell said, "You're not under contract, you can go away, we'll never make any money out of a ventriloquist." And 11 years later, he's made something like $118 million in Las Vegas, and he could have had his 20% cut of that and didn't want it. I think Simon's been humbled by that program, because you...
Me and Adam nearly passed out then.
Yeah, exactly. But
we're going to book a plane to Vegas tomorrow.
There you go. I think you do very well, and I think you do well on your story, and that's what people need, don't they? This magical thing of two brothers standing in front of a mic and creating this synergy vocally. And just watching that video, you've never sounded stronger. Has your voice changed since the first time you appeared on BGT?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's changed so much. So I said to Richard when we got the phone call off Britain's Got Talent to go back on the TV, I thought, what a great opportunity to show people what we sound like now. And we've been singing, like I say, since then for the past 6-7 years, and we practice daily, and Richard's always never stops singing. I mean, he's on YouTube listening to Pavarotti every day. I've panicked about my next door neighbour a little bit, but oh well.
Who's the greatest tenor ever? I mean, I just saw Alfie Boe last weekend in Les Mis in concert, and although I wasn't a big fan of that show per se, I mean, what a voice. And then you talk about the Pavarottis. Who is the best, greatest voice that you look up to and go, if I could just have 1% of that?
I mean, obviously Luciano Pavarotti was one of a kind, but I mean, we were also huge fans of Mario Lanza, and his ability to sing a song with not just power but emotion as well. And he really told a story through the song. I mean, often in opera and classical music, you get the conductors and things and trying to keep things very rigid. And Mario Lanza had a way of putting his own stamp on it and bringing the emotion into the song, whether the music said it or not, which we thought was quite special. And I don't think anyone sings a song like him. It's
strange, isn't it, that Mario didn't go into infamy like Pavarotti or some of the greats. It's bizarre that, because as you say, I mean, his back catalogue is stunning, and that voice, incredible.
I mean, it's bizarre, yeah. I mean, Adam bought me his life documentary, didn't you, for Christmas, and just watching through it, and you just can't believe it. I mean, people were absolutely astounded listening to him in a room, and the fact that he never actually made it physically to the stage to do an opera is quite mind-blowing, considering the sort of fame and the level of exposure he had in the sort of 50s.
Just incredible, and as are you both. It's so nice to see you back on tour, and we can't wait to see you can go. Just put Richard and Adam into Google and it will come up, and the tour goes through until the end of November, and we can see Britain's Got Talent, the champions. I think it starts on Saturday night, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. When we're on, we're not sure. We were recorded week 4. Whether they swap it around, we're not sure.
Yeah, they probably will. Well, we can't wait to see you. And it's such a great platform. And regardless of the shenanigans of the producers and the show, and we all know they do manipulate that show. Mates of mine get emails all the time, will you come on? Which is a bizarre way of running a talent show that's meant to be the public, but that's the way they do it. But just to be seen by that number of people can't hurt. And to keep classical music on the telly is brilliant too. And you guys are fantastic. Thank you so much for your time.
Thanks, buddy. Really appreciate it.